Good morning, everybody. It's Kieran Murry here. Gilbert Quante. We're just driving down the road. We're here in Lakewood. It's before the meeting on Tuesday. Well, obviously, we're live. You know what time it is, right? So you saw the title of this today was Gilbert Quante, the $56,000 man. I know a lot of you have been sending me messages that you like the videos that Sherry and I have been doing as we're driving down the road in the car. And I thought, you know what? I want to start being able to do once a week, put somebody else in the car like Gilbert, who has been crushing it with referrals and getting referrals, giving referrals, the whole thing. This guy is a master networker. So I want to put people like Gil in the car and pick his brain for you guys. So I'm going to ask him all the questions. He has to answer them. If he answers wrong, I just kick him out of the car. He has to walk back to the meeting. So if you guys don't see Gil at the meeting today, it's because I dropped his sorry butt off somewhere like in Furcrest and he couldn't make it back in time.
First of all, I want to apologize. I'm not as pretty as Sherry. I don't have her glamour and good looks, but I'll do my best.
All right. And I agree, you don't, so.
Good, keep your hands to yourself.
So, first of all, Mr. Quante, tell us what is what's the name of your business that you have for all, especially all the newbies that have just joined us at Ignite You. A lot of the older folks know who you are, but what's the name of your business?
It's Greenhaven Interactive. We're an internet marketing company, which means websites, social media, SEO, anything you can do to get. Our theme this year is visibility is our responsibility. Your visibility is our responsibility. So that's internet visibility.
Who came up with that? Your visibility is our responsibility.
I did, actually.
You did that on your own?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
I was watching a Kieran and Sherry video and went, hey,
shut up.
I'm seriously in it. And I wrote it down and went, well, this is kind of neat.
Your visibility is I love that one.
So I bounced it off a few smarter people than I to make sure that had a good message. And I think it does.
Right on.
Last year we were, you're amazing and we want the world to know it. So we're just keeping that amazing visibility is the next thing.
Right on. So, and as we're doing this, let's make sure that you talk loud enough so everyone will hear. I don't know how the volume is. So I'm going to talk loud enough. I need you to talk loud enough too.
All right.
Because I know you have some good stuff. So Greenhaven Interactive, everything websites, SEO, social media, you're the guy.
That's it.
And you're doing the sales part. You've actually got a team behind you. You've got Dave and his daughter and the team behind you that pulls off all that great stuff.
Yeah, and we're actually looking for expanding to a couple new salespeople and moving me into sales management.
Right on. Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next thing. How long have you been a member of Ignite You?
Just hit 2 years in December.
Really? 2 years in December.
Yep.
So 2 years in December. Tell me, I know you sent me a text here recently.
Yeah,
tell me how much business you have been able to generate. This is business coming to you guys, not necessarily business that you've referred away or done business with the group, but business that Greenhaven Interactive has received as a result of being a member of Ignite You.
56,000.
56,000, a little over. So he sent me a text. It was 56,000, whatever, $100 and then dollars and then cents, but I didn't want to have all that down. He's got it in a text. So $56,000. That's why I titled this Gil Quante, the $56,000 man. And you guys track that. I mean, you know exactly where the business is coming from.
Yeah. It's funny, when I first joined Ignite You, I'm looking around, it's big. There's 3 or 4 other internet marketing companies, and I'm going, wow, how am I going to get business from here? How am I going to get business? 3 months go by, I'm just kind of going, how am I getting business? How am I going to get business? And I just did what was natural to me and started referring people and doing actual one-to-ones to sit down and figure out how I can refer people. Once I started doing that, it was like the Golden Gate. I just would get people that would go, hey, why don't you come and talk to us about, in fact, one of my earliest one-to-ones, my first sale at Ignite You was Yulia, J-Dog. We were doing a one-to-one, learning about each other's business, and he just went, okay, I want you guys to do my internet marketing. Okay, glad to. Let's meet after this one-to-one about that. And since then, we've been doing his websites, but referring back and forth.
So your big thing then, I want to make sure I got this right.
Yep.
Your big thing was because you were 3 or 4 other website designers in the room, so you had to set yourself apart. And so what you did was, instead of waiting for the business to come to you, you learned about the other people in the group and then gave referrals to them to help build their business.
That's correct.
And because of that, you built the trust. People started responding to you, building the trust with you, and then they want to do business with you.
That's right. What I call it credibility. When you're doing these one-to-ones and you're learning about their business, you're asking questions about what they do, what makes them separate. You're not only they're becoming more credible to you, so it's easier to do a referral, but you're building credibility because you care about their business. And honestly, I can't refer everybody. I don't see a lot of skincare people, but when that situation comes up, the person that I had the one-to-ones with comes to mind, and I go, hey, I know somebody. And it's not, honestly, it wasn't the first one-to-one that I went, ooh, boom. It was unusual with Yuli. It was our first one-to-one. But it's usually the second or third one-to-one, when you're having that back-and-forth exchange, that the credibility sets in. I call the first one-to-one is your first date. You're just kind of getting to know each other. The second one-to-one is really building the trust. The third one is where you're so credible that you're really working on ideas for each other. I did a one-to-one with somebody, and we sat down and started circling the groups of influence for his business and my business and how they overlapped, so that we could easily see our clients that we could quickly refer to one of the members in our Ignite You.
So if you're watching, one of the big things that I'm picking up is you want to have a one-on-one with Gil Quante, because the guy's a master at referring people to those that he can make a connection with. But you were talking about, this is what I really picked up on, is that you didn't wait for someone else to refer you. You went out and started referring other people. That's I think one of the biggest things, and we hit that hard in boot camp. And I'll tell you a quick story. I remember several years ago, Sherry and I were doing a Facebook class down in Olympia. And we had this gentleman who was talking about networking, and we were on a break, and he said that he was in a networking group. It was a BNI, and he said that networking worked for everybody else, but it didn't work for his business. And I just like, well, and so I asked him, I said, what is your business? And he said, window washing, window cleaning, commercial stuff. And I said, so,
oh my gosh.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, so I asked him, I said, so tell me, how long have you been in the group? And he said, I've been in the group for 6 months, and I've never got a single referral. I've never got anything out of this group. And he was all upset and wanted to cancel, when the time was up. And so I asked him, I said, so you've been in this group for 6 months. You've never got a single referral. Networking doesn't work for you. I said, I have one question for you. And he said, what's that? And I said, how many referrals have you given other people in the group? And he all of a sudden, it was just like you could have heard a pin drop. And he said, none. And he looked at me and he said, I get it now.
0 times 0.
0 times 0 it was. He had received back exactly what he had produced and given in. So he brought 0 value to the group, right?
Yeah.
And so he got nothing out of the group. And so what Gil is talking about is, and this is the best. Gil is the best type of person that we can have at Ignite You. He brings value to the group before he expects to receive anything from the group.
Honestly, it's selfish. You know why? Because it makes me feel really good about myself to give somebody else a referral.
That's awesome.
And it closes, and you just feel like I'm wearing a big S on my chest. I got a cape, and it makes me feel like I have value as a person. So it's really cool. It's a fun feeling. Another thing that's a real big secret, and I learned it through my experience, my 2 years at Ignite You. When I was first going to Ignite You, I'd go Fridays only, and I'd go 2 Fridays a month. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well go every Friday. and I'm not a morning person because I was trying to get up early this morning to go to the Lakewood Chamber event, and the alarm went off, the covers were snugly warm, and I stayed in bed. So I made it a determination to go there every Friday. And after doing that, another 3 months, and I got my second referral and business through Ignite You, and I went, I should give that Tuesday lunch a try.
So let's hit that one just real quick, because
Okay.
you're on that one. So the value of showing up. I mean, I harp on this thing, and it's amazing that sometimes I feel bad because I can't seem to get it through people's minds, the value of showing up. So talk to me more about showing up and what it's done for you. You just talked about that when you started showing up to every Friday instead of half the time, you started getting more business. Mm-hmm. And then I cut you off, but tell me about what happened when you started going on Tuesdays. So tell me that part, and then the next thing I want you to tell me about is, what do you see, what kind of results do you see for other people in the group who don't show up? And then the next conversation is we're going to talk about what do they do when they do show up, and the results they're getting. So let's talk about just the fact that they're showing up, or what happened when you were showing up more.
So showing up and realizing that as I'm coming in the door, more and more people are getting to know me. Well, that's really good for your feelings. You feel popular. But the important thing is they start bringing you over to meet somebody new. And if it's important for your business to be the first face that they meet from your competitors, what you need to do is be there to be that first face. So let's talk about, I love Nick Baker, Voy Home Services. I actually had him out to my house pre-Christmas. Super job. And when I saw him, I have something like 20 years in the carpet and furniture cleaning business. So I said, I got to talk to this guy. And I sat down with him. We hit it off. We talked carpet cleaning and all the extraction equipment, and we knew all that stuff. It was fun. It was like old folks. And he goes, well, what do you do? And I went, well, I sell internet marketing. He goes, well, why don't we talk about that for a while? And we ended up setting up a meeting, and I ended up getting his business. But it was important to be there to make that first connection, because honestly, they're still competitors for me and Ignite You, and they're good, solid people. So if I lose a customer to them, I feel good because they're taking good care of, being taken good care of, because we've got some good, solid competitors in there. But the thing is, if you're not there or you don't respond to an invitation, there's been a couple times when I've invited somebody in a similar business to meet with me, and they didn't show up one time and they canceled the second time. So I went, well, I can't help them. If you're not there, people can't give you referrals.
If you're not there, people can't give you referrals. Wow, right there. That's it. That sums up everything right there.
You'd think they'd call you, but it's what comes to top of mind. When I'm having a conversation with a business out in the world, it's who comes to top of mind in a conversation about, hey, yeah, God, look at these windows. I wish I knew somebody that could clean windows. Boom. Hey, I know a guy.
Yep.
And if you think, oh, okay, I'm going to write that down and go back and I'll look up and Ignite You who does that. It doesn't happen.
It's got to be who's in front of your face right now. So what happened with your business in particular when you went from going every 2 Fridays a month to 4 Fridays, and then when you decided to include Tuesdays? What happened with your business?
I went from $7,000 the first year to $56,000 in my second year. That's a big jump. One of the cool things.
Hey, whoa. Yeah, you just kind of glossed over that. So let's.
I don't want to brag.
Well, it's not bragging. And here's the thing: is I want everyone to hear this, because this is so important for everyone to understand this. So instead of coming from me saying you need to be able to do this, this is the real life stuff. So I want to go back. The first year was $7,000, and so let me understand this. your first year you did it more on a part-time thing where you were showing up part-time.
Yeah, we did a 3-hour class on a Wednesday, spent $1,300 on that to treat Ignite You members to lunch and give them a lesson in how they can do internet marketing themselves, because not every business can afford us, and we're not the highest price, but there's some good tips we wanted to get out so those businesses can do it right, become more successful, and then learn who taught them that, and will probably call us and go, hey, I'm too busy making money the way I like, can you do my internet marketing? And got $7,000. My boss says, well, that's good ROI, $1,300, $700. And after that, it just kept doing those referrals and the one-to-ones and referrals and referrals and referrals.
So your first year was obviously a lot slower than your second year. Your first year you started, you were attending more on a part-time scale, generated $7,000, and the second year was the balance of the $56,000. You're like $50,000 in your second year.
And that's when I started to really make off-site connections for one-to-ones, to learn more about the people. So the second year, I knew a lot more businesses in Ignite You to give referrals to.
Nice.
The first year, if you're not showing up, you're not going to learn about those businesses. So how can you give a referral?
Okay, so that leads me to another one. Wow. First year, $7,000. Second year, basically $50,000. And it was because the second year you knew more business to be able to refer to, so they could refer back. So that leads me to the next one. I'm so glad we're having this conversation. One of the things that we find are people who they don't get as much as they want out of their first year, and they cancel their membership. So what you're telling me is, had you decided to cancel in the first year because your boss had thought that the $7,000 wasn't a good enough ROI, you would have missed out on $50,000 in the second year because you quit too soon. Did I hear that right?
Yep. That's exactly it. The interesting thing, if you think about it, where are you going to meet 100 people twice a week? And a lot of people go, well, it's the same people. No, it isn't. People come, people go, people show up, and people don't show up. So it's understanding. Now, I'm not there to find out who's my latest prospect that I can go call on. I'm there to find out who's another business that I can share referrals with. And end up, my biggest problem is I don't ask for referrals enough. Hey, Kieran, can you give me a referral? Think about it this week. And maybe that's part of the thing is there's no pressure. But you have to have a sincere heart for others.
Yeah.
And for their business, and for wanting to see them succeed and build up and be strong.
So do you think that had you not been giving as many referrals as you do, that $56,000 would have been a lot less?
I think so, yeah.
So if I'm hearing this right, you're talking about the value of showing up consistently and regularly all the time so you can meet more people to learn about their business so that you can give more referrals because you get more out of it.
That's correct.
Wow. And the other part is the longevity and not, I really wish, I hate it when I see people who, after their first year, like, yeah, this just isn't working out. And I want to say, man, you're missing out on the whole networking thing. The networking thing is a long-term game. And, if Gil would have dropped out at that year, $50,000 that they did in the second year, gone. So if you're one of those people who are on the fence about your second year and beyond, I hope you're watching this. I hope you get to this point in the video, because this is the guy that can teach all of us how to be a much more effective networker. Oh my gosh, you are amazing, dude. Amazing.
And I want to touch on the value of your commercials at the table. When I'm there, my commercial is giving good tips that people can use for themselves on internet marketing, instructing and teaching them And what that does for me is it builds credibility again. This guy has knowledge, and I'm not trying to tell him about the sale or what's important, but here's things to watch out for. Here's things you can do, like Google reviews. But the other thing is we got to remember that those 8 to 10 people, depending on who shows up late, are your sales staff. So use your commercial to train them on what a referral is for you. If you change that focus and, hey, here's what a good referral for me is. I'm looking for attorneys this week. I'm looking for an attorney that's doing this or that. Then you're building a sales staff.
Yep.
And with 100 people in that room, as you move around, each table you might get 1 or 2 people that are going to be really great referral sources and remember you for what you instructed them with.
And that's we did a video on that last week during the holiday. Sherry and I did about that. If you flip it, just like Gil was just saying, you flip it to where in your mind, instead of you are going to look for business, give a commercial, what you're doing is you're going there to actually train your sales staff, because you've got the people at the table. Those people have the potential to be your sales staff without being on your sales payroll. You don't have to pay them unless you do some type of referral program, but you have a chance to connect those people. And the thing is, like Gil was saying too, you're not going to connect with every single person in the room who's going to give you referrals. But if you had, you were consistent in showing up and you developed really good relationships with 15 or 20 people who were always thinking about you and your business and that stuff, they would keep you busier than you could shake a stick, right?
It's exactly true.
And that's what you want when people are saying, hey, who do you know that does SEO, or who do you know that builds websites? All Gil is looking for is people to say, I know a guy, Gil Quante, you got to check him out. That's all he's looking for. And that's why he's showing up all the time to build those relationships, is so that when other people ask you guys who you know, you're thinking about him. That's why he's there. That's why he's doing what he does. And it's paid off. Tell me what you have seen from other members on maybe why they don't get the results that they get. Whether it's maybe they don't show up, maybe they don't. What do you see?
Well, I see. You've touched on it in videos. I see the one-to-one where it's a commercial, a sales pitch unexpectedly. I've seen where you're looking for somebody because you have a referral for them and you don't see them and honestly you think, oh, I'm a nice guy, I'll look them up and call them, but it's a red balloon. It's inflated, it's ready to pop. You've got this referral, and as the day goes along, other things become more important and that balloon deflates, and by the time you get back to your laptop where you can look up something, you've forgotten all about it. So you gotta be there. Last week I had 2 people call me and say, hey Gil, I know you used to sell mattresses for Sleep Country, and we're looking for a mattress. And I'm going, God, what's that guy's name at Ignite You? Well, I went to my Sleep Country guys and referred them, and both people bought mattresses just this weekend. So that's an incident that can happen. It doesn't always happen, but what $3,000 per mattress? That's $6,000.
Yeah, so you referred outside the group when we had someone inside the group because someone you didn't even know if they're around anymore, or if they, you didn't feel confident that they were around to take care of your referral, right?
Yeah, I wasn't even sure if he was still in business.
Because you don't want to give a referral to someone that is going to make you look bad, right?
Yep.
So somebody missed out on a referral just simply because they weren't remembered. Just like I was saying, Gil just wants you to remember who he is, so when people ask, hey, who do you know that can do this? You think of Gil. Well, when someone asked about mattresses, Gil didn't remember that we had someone in the membership that could take care of that. And missed out on some sales.
I did remember, but I kind of vaguely thought that they were selling their business, so I wasn't confident. Confidence, that's what being there builds up. Confidence in others about you.
That's so good. That's bright.
Woo!
That's bright. Hold on. I'm gonna let this truck in here.
Good.
Come on.
Block the sun.
Come on, Mr. UPS guy. Wow, that is bright. Look at this. Look at my head shining right now. Holy smokes! I can.
It's like two suns, one in the sky, one next to me. Look at the video there.
Oh my gosh, that is bright. We're gonna turn left and get out of that sun.
Let's see. Another thing is, don't exit right away after the meeting unless you got an urgent appointment. You know, sometimes you got to be away. That happens. I was ill for 6 weeks, had an operation, and I was gone for 6 weeks. You know what? Didn't get a single referral there in that 6 weeks. I got a few really kind calls. Where have you been? What's going on? But
did you guys hear that? So when he's been there all the time, he gets the referrals. When he was homesick for 6 weeks and people didn't see him all the time, he got 0 referrals because, and it wasn't because people didn't still know him and love him, because they still do.
Fresh in mind.
It was they forgot about him. They didn't remember him because he wasn't in the room or wasn't posting in the Facebook group. Do you guys get that? That's the biggest one right there, right? 6 weeks he's homesick and people forgot about him that fast.
You know, the rule in advertising, I worked at the News Tribune for 8 years in the advertising department. And the rule of advertising is that people need to see the same message 7 to 8 times before it registers in their brain. And the proof of that is I was a photo editor in the advertising department. They took our photos and had us take a photo like this, like we're leaning on a fence, and had my picture above the word classified in the Sunday Classifieds in color, big. And it wasn't till the 7th week that all my friends started calling and razzing me.
Wow.
Hey, what are you doing? And it was, you're in the newspaper. I said, yeah, I've been there 7 weeks. Really? I never saw that. So being there not only gives you referrals, but it gets your message understood. It's especially if all you're going to do is your table commercials, be there every week, sit with the same people for every week, then move. Oh, that brings up that other thing that I've noticed. When you're at the networking meeting, any networking meeting, don't sit with the same people all the time. Because once they know you, it's comfortable for you to be there. But what are you there for? Right. You're there to increase your business and increase somebody else's business by giving them referrals. And get up and mingle.
Not only don't sit with the same people, don't sit in the same place. We have people who are just they're creatures of habit, and they will sit in the exact same chair every single week. And so people, and matter of fact, that was funny because Gil used to do this, and I talked to him. I said, you got to sit someplace different because there's a freshness to it, right?
Yeah.
So you're sitting with different people in a different seat, and it's funny when you're a creature of habit. People just. It's almost like, yeah, you're a fixture. They know you're there. It's almost like you stayed home sick for 6 weeks because all of a sudden you just start to blend. You blend in with the furniture. You blend in with the wall. It's like, yep, that's where so-and-so is at all the time. And then they're thinking about someone else. So you've got to do different things each week and meet those different people. So move around and sit in someplace different.
2 other quick tips. Show up on time. It is so rude when everybody's getting started with their commercials and we have to scoot over, make a place for you, and you've missed 2 people's commercials. If you can't make it on time, I think it's better not to be there. Just show up for the networking afterwards, the open networking, walking around, go, oh, I'm sorry, and do that. The other thing is pay attention to the other people at your table while they're speaking. Brian Harding and I were at a table. This lady was there, gave her commercial, was on her phone the entire time. Everybody else was giving a commercial. 3 other commercials into it, she got up and took off. We looked at each other, looked at her card, and just threw it on the table. We don't even want to know that person anymore about them.
Yep.
You have to be there to care about the other business, and the way to show that is be there on time and be attentive. Now, we all get urgent messages, and if it's urgent, excuse yourself from the table saying it's an urgent message. And we understand that because we're business people. But if you're dinking around on your phone, or unless you're recording a live video, adding at you, be attentive because you're going to hear something that might spark a referral from somebody from another group to this person.
Yep.
Somebody you're talking to might go, boy, I could really use a massage therapist. Hey, I know somebody. I know 3 or 4 somebodies. But this one is important. I know the right person for you.
Yep. So let's finish with this one, because I know we're about a half hour, and I didn't know how long these were going to go, but man, he's got so many good tips that there's no way I'm going to cut him off as we're talking about this stuff.
Should we charge for these tips?
We should. They should be. Let's do $100 a piece. If someone uses them, they got to give us a royalty.
Okay.
So the stuff we've been talking about is like a mini Ignite You boot camp. And so I know you've been through boot camp.
Yep.
Tell people who out there who haven't been through boot camp yet what a boot camp experience is and if they should go. And that's what we're going to wrap up with, and then we're going to head back into the casino.
The best thing is the boot camp is, 10 people at the most?
Yep.
And you're getting this experience, this instruction from Kieran. Some of it is what we've been talking about. But at the end, it's individualized, personal tip for you networking for your business. And that is the gold at the end of the meeting. And it goes around, and when he got around to me, and I'm like, oh crap, what am I not doing? What am I doing too much? He goes, you got to show up more. I know you're there, but I'm there all the time, except I took my boot camp right after my sick leave. And I went, he's right. I didn't get any referrals while I was gone. So the boot camp is huge. If you can do it, you just buy your own lunch. Kieran's not charging anything for it. It's huge to get you through there. Don't be afraid to walk up to a new person that has, those lights in the eyes, doesn't know what's going on. Just explain to them how Ignite You works in the morning so they can be charged up and excited. I'm excited when I get there. And if I'm not, I look for a cat and scat and say, hey, I need some excitement. And, a couple of conversations with them, and I'm pumped up and ready to go.
Right on. Okay, gang, well, we are circling back around. We're back in the industrial park, so we're going to be pulling into the casino here in about 2 minutes.
Make some money.
So here's what I'm going to recommend is get down to the casino today for the networking so you can meet Gil. So you can sit at his table, because I guarantee you're going to want to meet him, because he gives out, he's one of the top referring members we have, meaning he gives referrals to more members than most people do in our group. He is phenomenal at that.
It's 10-1 for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, he can't do that if, number one, you're not there, and number two, if he's not there. And that's why he is there, is to be able to meet you, to learn about your business, to give you referrals. And then I know you're going to want to learn more about his business, because they provide an awesome experience for their SEO, social media, website design. I know the guys behind the scenes, the ones that, the guy that owns the company, they are a class act.
He's crazy.
Well, he's crazy, but everyone in the whole group is a class act, and that's why I know that Gil is a perfect fit there, because guys, if you hadn't had a chance to meet this gentleman in the passenger seat, he is one of my favorite people on this planet. He is one of the most genuine, authentic people I've ever met. And if there were ever a time when I was in deep need of whatever, I know that I could call on him for whatever I needed, and he would do whatever he could to make whatever happen to help, because he's just that kind of guy with no questions asked. And I really hope that you get to be able to have that kind of a knowledge and relationship with him, because he's a wonderful guy. So there's Angie Guy. So we're going to pull in here. Come and see Gil. Come to the networking. I don't know who we're going to have in the car next week, but man, they're going to have to... Cruise talks. Yeah, so we're going to have some good people for next week and the week after to be able to top what Gil's saying here. Holy smokes, did this guy have some tips or what? So you guys have an awesome day.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to see you in just a few minutes inside, and we appreciate you. Love all you guys and Ignite You. We'll see you soon.